The morning mist hung low over Samuel's farm, curling between the fence posts like ghostly ribbons. The damp air clung to his skin, carrying with it the earthy scent of soil and fallen leaves. The old man walked slowly along the dirt path, his boots crunching on the gravel with each careful step. His joints ached more these days, every movement reminding him that 72 years had left their mark on his body. Still, he carried himself with quiet dignity. The farm stretched out before him, quiet and peaceful, just the way he liked it, though the silence often pressed on him heavier than he cared to admit. Samuel had lived alone for nearly a decade now, ever since his beloved wife Martha had passed. Their children had moved to the city years before that, caught up in their own busy lives, careers, traffic, screens, things he didn't fully understand. He told himself he understood, of course. The world had changed, and farm life wasn't for everyone anymore. But in the early mornings, when the fog rolled in from the valley and every sound seemed muffled, the loneliness felt like a weight he could not put down. He made his rounds each day with the same discipline Martha used to admire in him. Checking the fence line, feeding the chickens, tending to the vegetable garden that she had loved so much. The garden still felt like hers, rows of carrots and beans, roses she once planted along the edge. Samuel often found himself talking to her as he worked, asking what she might think of the season's tomatoes, or imagining her laughter when the hens squabbled too loudly. The routine kept him going. Without it, he sometimes wondered what would be left of him at all. That particular morning, as autumn painted the leaves in shades of gold and amber, Samuel heard something unusual. A soft whimpering drifted through the mist, so faint he thought at first it was his imagination. He stopped walking, tilted his head, listening carefully. There it was again, fragile but insistent, coming from somewhere near the old barn. Samuel changed direction, his curiosity piqued, though his knees complained with each turn of the gravel. Behind a stack of weathered wood planks, he found a tiny puppy, no bigger than his work boot. The little creature was shivering, its brown and white fur matted with mud. Its dark eyes looked up at Samuel with a mixture of fear and desperate hope. "Well now," Samuel said softly, bending down with a grunt. "Where did you come from, little one?" The puppy whimpered again, too weak to move away. Samuel could see its ribs beneath the dirty fur. It must have been lost for days, maybe abandoned by someone passing through. His heart, which he thought had grown hard with loneliness, suddenly felt tender again, like soil breaking open for the first shoots of spring. He scooped up the puppy gently, cradling it against his flannel shirt. The small body trembled in his hands, but the puppy didn't resist. Samuel carried it back to the farmhouse, his steps quicker than usual despite his aching knees. Inside, he warmed some milk and found an old blanket that still smelled faintly of Martha's lavender soap. The puppy drank eagerly, its tiny tail wagging weakly for the first time. Samuel watched with a small smile tugging at his weathered face. He hadn't realized how much he had missed taking care of something, how much he needed another living being to share his days with. "I suppose you'll need a name," Samuel said, stroking the puppy's head with one calloused finger. "How about Cooper? That was my father's dog's name, a long, long time ago." The puppy seemed to approve, licking Samuel's hand with a warm, pink tongue. The days that followed brought unexpected changes to the quiet farm. Cooper grew stronger with each passing week, his coat becoming soft and shiny, his eyes bright and alert. He followed Samuel everywhere, his presence a constant comfort. The old man found himself talking more, explaining things to the dog as they worked together. His voice, which had grown rusty from disuse, felt natural again, like oil loosening the hinges of a long-closed door. Samuel taught Cooper to stay close during the morning rounds, to wait patiently while he tended the garden, to curl up by the fireplace in the evenings. The puppy learned quickly, eager to please. The farmhouse, which had felt like a hollow shell of memories, slowly came back to life. The sound of Cooper's paws clicking on the wooden floors, the soft thud of him leaping onto the rug, the cheerful barks echoing through the rooms, all of it made Samuel's home feel alive again. Sometimes, at night, Samuel would sit in his worn armchair, Cooper resting at his feet, and he would speak to Martha aloud. "You'd like him," he'd murmur. "He's got spirit, just like you always said a good dog should." And though no answer came, Samuel felt less alone. Months passed, and autumn gave way to winter. Cooper was fully grown now, a loyal companion with intelligent eyes and a protective nature. Samuel's days had taken on a new rhythm, one that included the dog in every activity, from gathering firewood to walking the frosted fields. The heavy weight of loneliness no longer pressed on him. He still missed Martha, still thought of his children, but the ache had softened into something more bearable. One cold February morning, Samuel woke feeling different. His chest felt tight, and his left arm tingled strangely. He tried to sit up but found himself dizzy and weak. The bedroom seemed to tilt around him like a ship caught in stormy waters. "Cooper," he called out, but his voice was barely a whisper. Cooper, who always slept at the foot of Samuel's bed, was instantly alert. The dog stood up, ears forward, sensing immediately that something was wrong. Samuel tried again to move, to reach for the phone on his nightstand, but his body wouldn't respond the way it should. Cooper jumped down from the bed and began barking, loud and urgent. The sound filled the house, echoing off the walls. But there was no one to hear, except Samuel. The intelligent animal paused, looking at Samuel with those knowing eyes. Then Cooper did something Samuel had never taught him. The dog raced to the front door, scratching at it frantically. When it wouldn't open, Cooper bounded to the window in the living room, the one that faced the neighboring farm 2 miles down the road. He barked and barked, his voice carrying across the frozen fields. He didn't stop. He wouldn't give up. The sound traveled through the crisp winter air, persistent and desperate. Samuel drifted in and out of consciousness, aware of Cooper's distant barking but unable to help himself. Time seemed to stretch and bend. In the haze of pain, he thought of Martha, of his children, of all the years that had passed. Regrets and joys mixed together like smoke rising into the cold February sky. Then, other voices. Human voices. The front door opened, and Samuel's neighbor Tom rushed into the bedroom, his teenage son right behind him. "Samuel, hang on. We're calling an ambulance." Tom's face appeared above him, concerned and focused. "We heard your dog barking like crazy," Tom's son added, his phone already pressed to his ear. "Wouldn't stop for nearly 20 minutes. We knew something had to be wrong." Samuel's eyes found Cooper, who stood in the doorway, tail wagging cautiously, as though asking, "Did I do well?" The dog's persistence had saved his life. The ambulance arrived, and the paramedics confirmed what Samuel had feared. He'd had a heart attack, but thanks to Cooper's warning and the quick response, they'd gotten to him in time. The damage would heal. He would be all right. Weeks later, after recovering in the hospital and then spending a few days with his daughter who had driven down from the city, Samuel returned to his farm. Cooper greeted him at the door with such joy that the old man had to kneel down, ignoring his doctor's warnings about taking it easy, and wrap his arms around the dog. "You saved me, boy," Samuel whispered into Cooper's fur. "I saved you once, and you saved me right back." Spring came early that year. As Samuel walked his morning rounds, moving slower but with a grateful heart, Cooper stayed close by his side. The mist rolled through the fence posts as it always did, but somehow the world looked different now. Brighter. More precious. Samuel had saved a lost puppy on a foggy autumn morning. And when he needed it most, that puppy had saved him in return. The farm was no longer silent. It was filled with purpose, with love, and with the steady presence of a friend who would never let him face the world alone.